What is up, citizen detectives? Yellowjackets Season 2, Friends, Roman, Countrymen. Here we are back. I'm Glenn, as always, with my lovely co-host, NYC Demon Diva Issa, to talk everything about the season premiere of Yellowjackets Season 2. Issa, how are you doing?
I am so excited to be back. I missed talking about Yellow Jackets, and man, do we have a lot to talk about. What a first episode.
I know it's been 13 months since we
Too
did
long.
this.
Too long.
Too long. Yes, we just released some bonus episodes with some interviews we had banked from the postseason of season 1. And I don't know about you, I followed the news and I read the headlines. I watched the trailers, but I almost needed a little time away because I knew that if I was paying attention to that, I was just going to be counting the days and I would drive myself crazy.
Yes.
And I wanted to be a little surprised.
I was staying as far away to the point that you had to tell me when we were going to get it, because I was in my brain, it was next week. I was trying to stay away from everything because of the same reason. Once I started seeing it all over my social media and we saw the trailer and everything, I just started getting antsy. Like it was like out of mind, out of sight for a little while. But then once I knew it was coming back, I've been dying to see it.
And that's the thing. And I knew, because we talked, should we do a rewatch? Should we do some more content? And I was like, you know what? I think the break will be good, or else I'm just going to, my inner citizen detective, my inner Misty is just going to analyze things. And I'm going to drive myself insane. And I realized today, season 2 is only 9 episodes.
I'm sad about that.
8 more. We have 8 more episodes from here. Now, it's already been renewed for season 3. That's the great news. And if you have turned on a television, clicked on the internet, been on Twitter, guess what? This little show that we all discovered some 14, 15 months ago is now one of the most popular cultural phenomenon in all of pop culture. It's huge. It's massive. It's inescapable, unavoidable. And you know what? We are back to talk about it with you all. So if you're listening to the podcast for the first time, if you're just catching up on the backlog, Issa and I have been early fans of the show. I discovered it Thanksgiving weekend when it first aired, and I said, Issa, you got to watch this show. And we just started talking about it and talking about all our theories and the flash forwards and the flashbacks. And we said, we got to do a podcast. We come from the world of doing wrestling recap podcasts together, and Yellowjackets seemed like the obvious choice, something we could obsess over. So here we are with season 2, and let's just dive right in. This episode opened with the single best recap I have ever seen.
Yes.
For a TV season ever. Give an Emmy to whoever edited this recap. I think before this, maybe the Ozark season 2, when they had Ruth going to prison and visiting her father and then recapping the first season. This was better than that. It was so well done. It gave you every major storyline, one thing folded into the next. I was afraid that I had forgotten some things. But then watching this, like, it gave me everything that I needed to just be ready to go. With the exception of Allie. I felt the recap should have focused a little more on Allie. And I'm just saying I'm counting the minutes this season until we're surprised with an Allie cameo, because I want to know how she's doing and how she's holding up with her trauma bond with the team. And when is she going to join Lottie's cult?
Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned that, because the first note that I took is like, great recap. I didn't need to see Biscuit's head again.
Less Biscuit's head, more Allie. That's what we want, Yellowjackets writers.
Yes.
Ashley Bart, we hope you're listening to us. So yeah, funny coincidence there, and we'll get into that about one of the plots tonight. But we went immediately from that recap to what life is like in the cabin in the Canadian wilderness back in I guess this would be winter 96, or maybe the very tail end of 96 going into 97.
Right. It's winter of 96, possibly 97, I would assume. Yes.
Yeah, possibly early 97. And here's their day-to-day routine, trying to stay warm, holding icy dripping water in a bucket, bundling up to go out, stuffing dirty magazines into their clothing to keep them warm. Oh, and by the way, doing a Wiccan ritual and drinking some of Lottie's blood. I believe she's marking them with some sort of sacred ash, giving them, some herbs to get rid of the evil spirits, burning some sage, then having them ingest her blood and sending them off into the wilderness to hunt for Javi.
Whatever you have to do, right, to survive at this point. If Lottie's blood is the secret, then let's do it.
Yes, absolutely. Whatever it takes, to quote Degrassi. So it was very, very good. Also wonderful use of Sharon Van Etten, the singer, her song 17 at the beginning of this. Like this,
Every song in this episode was a hit.
it was so good. It was so good. And the way they set this up with Travis and Natalie, Travis going to look for his brother Javi. It's been 2 months since the events of Doom coming, and Javi is still unaccounted for, and they're going out every day in the snow trying to find him. And some interesting developments in this episode. We theorized based on our interview with the director of the finale and the fact they shot an extra scene with Javi. We theorized that Javi was not long for this world, but based on Lottie's revelation later in the episode, who knows? Now all bets are off. We did see a quick little Javi cameo in a fantasy sequence we'll talk about, but I love that Travis, given all the craziness that has gone on and what happened with Doom coming in the finale and Jackie, I love that Travis is not giving up hope. I thought that was very nice.
Because there's no such thing as false hope. There's only hope.
There's
Might
only
have
hope.
been one of my favorite lines in the whole episode.
Oh my God. And I'll tell you, it was very, very well done. Very heartbreaking. Travis, our interview with Kevin Alves at the end of last season. I mean, just he is starting to show some of that depth, and I think we were really impressed with him as a person. And by the way, he's like 31 now, still playing Travis. I gotta get on this
Absolutely
dude's
insane.
diet and
Absolutely
skincare
insane.
routine, right?
Whatever he's doing, we all gotta do it.
Yeah, he looks phenomenal. And Natalie, the hair is growing out, the roots are showing more. We can see the
Yeah.
time is passing.
There was a very good attention to detail with Yellowjackets. Never disappoints with that, but I noticed that in they look worn out. They're the same actors, but they're
Yeah.
paying attention. Even when you just pointed out the roots, that's the first thing that I looked at. If you've been in the wilderness for this long, your hair's not gonna look the same. The things that were changing made sense, and they paid attention to every little detail the way that they always do. We always praise them for that.
Yeah.
And Travis was starting to look like he's going through it, and I appreciated that because he is going through it.
Yeah, and you really got that sense of the things were not going so hot, but they have a routine, right? Like this is not the team that crashed in season 1 and went through the early stages of, we're away, we're unsupervised, we're learning to fend for ourselves. They have got a routine now, and they are in it. And it's, I don't want to say this is going well, but it's going as well as it could. But this is not the fun summer camp portion that they had for the better parts of season 1. Now it's tough. Food is running low. They've lost Jackie. They've lost Javi. I mean, they've literally lost Javi. He's unaccounted for. So we don't know what's going on.
Yeah, but we have now hit survival mode. So, somebody has to get the meat. Somebody has to get the water. We got to keep everybody alive. We got to keep everybody warm. We got to talk to the people. There is a routine set in place.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's tough. I mean, I look at it and I can't even imagine what this must be like. So we go from that day-to-day scene, and we'll get more into it because we are going to stay largely in this time period. But we go from that scene to then flash forward to 1998, a second time period. And what this is really about is Lottie Matthews. And we see the rescue. We see the not when they're found, but we see when they're returning home. And there's the press conference. And I love the use of the hoodies because we see the people that we know survive, but we don't really make anyone else out. So we still don't know who makes it out of the wilderness.
Correct. I love this. Ever since we started watching the episode, one of the things I have always pondered about and wanted to see a scene was the rescue. Like they had to be all over the news. Like this had to have been crazy, right? If this would have been a real life incident, that would have been global. Everybody would have been covering it. So I really, really wanted to see what that looked like. And we got a tease, and I'm pretty sure we're going to get more of it as the season goes on. But I love just seeing a little bit of the press going crazy. Like, it looked like everybody was forgetting what these girls just went through. They just wanted to get a sight of them, interview them, this and that. And it's
Oh
just
my
like,
God. Could you
do you
imagine
not
in real
realize?
life?
Yeah. Like, do you not realize what these people went through? Like, leave them alone.
I mean, this is really because we see in present day, we see the aftermath of, okay, now they've lived 20 years later after being home, almost 25 years later after being home, but to see what it was like right away. I mean, think about any major media scandal or controversy or missing person that was returned. There's, it never really goes away, but when you're in the moment, you're in the moment. Speaking of which, did you see the bonus video that they put on YouTube? And I can't believe they did this because I think we talked about this. And, I actually tried to do this because I have an extensive archive of VHS rips. They deep faked a Kurt Loder MTV News report with Kurt Loder talking about the disappearance of the Yellowjackets. And I have to say,
no, I haven't seen it yet. I need to go check it out.
It looks just like an MTV News report. My only gripe is the voice they got. Like, it's not Kurt Loder. The cadence is there, but it doesn't sound very much like Kurt Loder. That was the only disappointment. But what's funny though? We talked about all sorts of different fun things we could do in the off season, and I was looking through old MTV. Like, I wonder if I could piece together sound clips to sort of do something fun. And I love that they did it. So in the '90s, like MTV News would have been all over this story.
That was it. That's how I found out most of my news, if I'm being honest. I only watch on TV, but they always had those little news clips here or there, and if something big happened, they would break whatever programming was on to tell you. So that's a great idea.
Yeah, so the fact they did the Yellowjackets disappearance on MTV News, that was absolutely brilliant. Google it, Kurt Loder or MTV News Yellowjackets. You'll find it on YouTube. It's easy. But so after this, Lottie, oh my God, Lottie is back with her parents. And, DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince told us the parents just don't understand. And I think Lottie is living that life because, once again, they're convinced there's something wrong with her. And they're not just giving it time. We're going immediately to electroshock therapy, and she's being, for lack of a better word, like committed, likely against her will, to some sort of mental health facility. And you really feel for her here, especially thinking about what she just came out of with being the antler queen and being in the woods and that existence. She has to have a lot of trauma.
Yeah, and as of this moment, we don't know everything. We don't know what all she went through. So once we really start learning more about Lottie and all the things that she went through, you can only imagine, the trauma and the stress that she was going through. This thing broke my heart, honestly.
Absolutely.
Just hearing the parents be this way, and I think that says something like, just get to a doctor. Can you fix her? And I'm like, yeah, that's not the way to go if you really want to fix her.
And that shot of her sitting there not saying anything while her parents are talking and then falling right back into the electroshock therapy was just this episode is just so beautifully shot, edited. Everything about this is so well done. But I love that she's in there with a fellow patient who is having trouble, and Lottie is able to calm her. So we see that she's got this gift beyond the supernatural, beyond the visions. We see that with people, she is able to bring them peace.
She brings them something. Ask Travis.
Well, this is the... And she does have the visions during the therapy about the underground tunnels and the candles, which is interesting. Yeah. I'm wondering with Javi, based on this episode, I'm wondering if Javi is going to be our bridge to those tunnels and that underground area, given that there is hope of where is he and how he could survive. I feel like this is where it's all going and it's all going to come together. But the thing I wanted to say about this is that this transition of young Lottie bringing peace to another patient, and then we cut to Lottie in the present day. And what's interesting about this is, given the way the season 1 ended and the who the fuck is Lottie Matthews and Nat being kidnapped, there was a lot of speculation, even on this very podcast, that Lottie Matthews was going to be the big bad, the villain of season 2. And what I like about this is you see the comfort she's bringing others. You see the speech she's talking about being your true self. Only you can change you. And I have to admit, I'm like, I could use a getaway. Maybe I need to go to the Canadian wilderness and join Lottie's cult and work on myself, because I'm watching her speak and I'm like, yeah, she's making a lot of sense.
She was. She said
I
the
know.
only person that can bring the happiness that you need to you is you. And I'm
Oh
like,
my
how is
God.
this evil? This is not evil. She's speaking facts. I first of all, I love adult Lottie. She just looks
Simone
like a
Kessel.
peaceful, right? She looks so peaceful. She actually looks like the kind of person that could start a cult and you will follow her.
Oh my
You know
God.
what
In
I
fact,
mean?
so I was reading
Perfect casting. Perfect casting.
Deadline had a story on this and was saying that
Yeah.
she was doing these talks and these scenes, and the extras were coming up and wanting to like hug her after because they were so moved. I mean, but look, I'm sure we're going to see the dark side, but I'm watching this and I'm like, oh my God, I'm so susceptible. No one ever offered to give me a free personality test. Kirk Cameron, don't come and preach at me and ask me about, somebody trying to save, because I will hook, line, and sinker. I will be like, yes, you are making a lot of
Even
sense.
even not jumping ahead, I know we break down the episodes, but I just want to point out that even when she finally sees Natalie and Natalie's coming at her with a stick ready to just kill everybody, she's like, it's okay, she's my friend. And even at that point, she just looks so peaceful when you know they're doing something really messed up out there, and you're still like, she just seems so welcoming.
There's going to be a dark side. Maybe there's some multi-level marketing scheme aspect to this. I mean, sure, there's probably like murder and ritual sacrifice, but there's some shit going on in the Cult of the Antler Queen.
I can't wait to get the explanation as to why we gotta be buried alive
Well,
naked.
we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that, and there supposedly will be, according to all the press. So I think that like Lottie just seems like a very intriguing character. A lot of people were worried and said, okay, we're going to add more adult characters to the show after Nat, Misty, Shauna, and Thaisa. And I have to say, from this, like, over the course of season 1, Lottie went from an interesting supporting character to perhaps the central character of the past, because she's, like talking to the animals and then murdering them. I don't think Dr. Doolittle did that. That would have been a darker twist. But no, she's communing with nature. She's like clearly communicating on an astral plane. And
Okay, so I'm gonna go back to speculating, which we did last season. Is it supernatural or not?
Oh, come on. Like, there's gotta be. No,
right?
I mean, okay, look, okay, so I mean, we'll talk about what happens. There are things that happen in this episode. You got two choices based on Shauna's behavior, based on Lottie's behavior, and based on some of this other stuff we're seeing. It's like widespread mental illness or impairment, maybe to use a softer term, or it's something supernatural.
Right. Or both.
And maybe, and I like that they're kind of straddling the line with it.
Correct. Because you still speculate. You still don't know. Are they crazy? Are they onto something? You don't know. She did calm people down, though, and that's important.
So we are 9 minutes and 20 seconds into the episode before we get to the opening credits, where Lottie, you see her about to board the plane and just yelling this cathartic scream. And think about everything she had just been through and everything we know they're going to go through and what we saw in the flash forwards in season 1 to the Antler Queen and the dinner party and everything there. Lottie's journey, actually all of their journeys, I'm very interested in. I love that we're getting a third season. I hope we get the full 5 or 6 season plan, because I want to see what Shauna, what Nat, what Ty, what Van, what they all went through trying to reacclimate into society after the shared traumatic experience in the woods.
Right, correct. Me too.
So we get the theme song "No Return" by Craig Wedren.
Oh my God, did I miss it? First of all, I just want to let all of our listeners know, if you click skip intro, we can't be friends. You cannot skip this intro. And by the way, if you pay close attention to it, they changed a lot of things in the intro.
They changed a lot of things. I think we should almost do a bonus episode talking about what's new in the credits.
We should. Let's figure out when we can do that, because I want to go back and just watch the credit scene just to catch. I caught just a few things, and it was just my first watch. I haven't had a chance to rewatch it.
Well, I'm telling you. So one thing we did learn in season 1 is some of these shots, you can speculate on the context of them, but they have a reason why they exist. It's
Right.
not, and sometimes it's random. Like the people that put together the credits comb through all the footage and said this will be the most visually interesting thing we can make. But the one thing I noticed when there's the playing card there, there's a note that says, "I'm grateful for my friends."
Yep.
That flashed. I went back and freeze framed so much stuff in this
I
episode.
noticed the organ. I don't know what organ it was, but there was like just a fast clip of some organ sitting on a table. There was
Yeah.
a clip of I think it was Misty, like with blood all over. I don't know if she
Hmm.
was eating blood, but she had blood all over her face. So I'm excited to go back and watch the credits, the opening credits, and see what all changed.
Yeah. It's very, very intriguing. And because it's a popular long running theory, I just want to point out they left in the girl on the hill overlooking menacingly
Yeah.
that I swear to God is Shauna's daughter that she had in the wilderness. That had better be the payoff of who
Oh
that
my god.
mysterious figure is. It was in the season 1 and now season 2 credits.
Right.
But yeah, there's a lot of stuff in here that's new. Very cool. Looks like we're gonna get another appearance by the man with no eyes at some point from a new shot here in this. But and there was some stuff that paid off, like the sort of skull mask. We saw that later in this episode. And I love again,
Correct.
I love again the logo on the back of the jackets. It's the Degrassi intro style
Mhm.
of the show name, which
Yeah.
is just phenomenal. Okay, so we have what opens Shauna being interrogated. Now tell me if you had this thought.
The
And you know what?
best freaking scene in the whole freaking show.
I want you to leave in the comments. I want you to tweet at me. I'm at Glenn Rubenstein. You can tweet at Yellowjackets Buzz. I heard this voice. And you know who it sounded like to me? I don't know that it is them. It might be a woman's voice or it might be a man's voice. I thought it sounded like Wilson Cruz from My So-Called Life and Star Trek Discovery.
Oh my god. I need to go check it out and compare them.
I listened to it a bunch of times. I was like, this sounds like Wilson Cruz. And I was like, is Wilson Cruz in this as a cop? That would be awesome. But Shauna is being interrogated about the murder of Adam Martin. And it turns out it's Misty running her voice through a voice changer. Now, obviously, they did cast a voice actor. That's not Christina Ricci's voice distorted. I don't think. Maybe it is.
Right.
Maybe slow it down, speed it up. But I thought it was Wilson Cruz for a second. But yeah, Shauna's hanging out with Misty, practicing for being interrogated by the police about Adam Martin's disappearance and murder.
Yes. Yes. It was this was so perfect. It's the perfect way to reintroduce us to Misty and show us that she's not gonna change one bit this season.
Now, I would like to try some Hawaii 5-0 punch. But Isa, here's my question. Do you have Tupperware and a ladle? Do you have your own punch kit?
I don't.
Everybody needs a punch kit. We should
I
start
know.
selling Yellowjackets Buzz branded punch kits.
Yeah, we should.
With ladles and
we're on
Tupperware.
something. Watch out, somebody might steal it from us.
Yes, you can keep your I mean, I guess I should say this. There's bootleg Yellowjackets Buzz merch out there that doesn't
we don't
quite
even have merch, but apparently other people are selling our merch.
Somebody took our logo and then tagged us. I mean, do you want merch? Tweet at us. We thought about doing merch and we'll give all the money to charity. If people want the logo that we designed.
I will say we have a badass logo, so
our
it will
logo
look
is
nice
good
on a t-shirt.
Yeah, and we
all
made
credits to Glenn. All credits to Glenn.
Well, thank you. And we made it we were very careful to not infringe on any other intellectual property or whatnot. But no, I think doing something for charity might be cool with that. But anyhow, so Misty wants Ty and Nat. She thinks they're going to show up there an hour late. I love that Shauna's like the one that's there. And I love that Misty is telling Shauna that the only thing you should say to a cop is, I want my lawyer. And she says,
That's why I put it on the cookie.
I put it on the cookie.
First of all, they did such a good job introducing the scene because you hear the guy's voice, like you say, you really think it's an interrogation. Then I start listening to the questions, like, well, how'd you kill him? Well, I didn't murder him. How you know he was murdered? And then she goes, how was the sex? And I was like, why would a cop ask that? Like, this interrogation seems to be just starting. Why would they ask that? And then it's Misty.
Oh, of course it's Misty. I mean, this was just so great, and I love that. I love seeing Shauna and Misty because they really didn't have scenes in season 1. They didn't get together till
not along, not
end.
like this. Mm-hmm.
You know, but yeah, this was just a phenomenal scene, them together, and I'm just gonna say it now. I kind of hate that I watched the second trailer they released for the season. I feel like, and I guess I just need to put this out there, and I want to be proven wrong, because if you looked at episode 1 of the first season, it was very much just setting the table, no pun intended. It was setting up the scenario, but episode 2 is where everything kicked off. And I almost don't like that you're seeing people talk about spoilers or based on the trailer that people send you to have an idea of where it's going. I think part of what was so much fun about the first season was not knowing. So I'm almost going to just forget I've seen that trailer, and we talk here about different theories or ideas. And again, we speculate wildly and recklessly. Like, I don't care that there's stuff out there on Reddit from people that have seen other episodes or stuff from the trailer that makes what, where this is kind of headed with it. Even in interviews, I don't like that people are confirming that, oh, this is going to happen. And I'm not going to spoil it here for anyone listening, but there are interviews out there that kind of tell you key episodes in the season when big moments are going to happen.
I've been avoiding everything. It's been hard because I'm a big fan of this show, but I really have been avoiding everything because the show is excellent, but the magical experience of season 1 is what you said, not knowing. So I'm trying to go into this season knowing that. It was so funny because I stayed away from Twitter yesterday just to avoid spoilers, because obviously we do so many Yellowjackets things that a lot of it shows up on my For You page. And I'm like, I'm not opening Twitter. I'm not doing this. I didn't click on the hashtag, nothing until after I watched it.
Well, and so that's part of it too, because I think, this isn't a binge show. I mean, it is for people after the fact, but for us watching it in season 1, this was about week to week and what's going to happen. And this is what we think. I would watch next week's episode maybe to get an idea, like the teaser for the next week. But aside from that, I really thought a lot of the fun of this was just not knowing and wanting to tune in and see what happens next.
It had been, for me at least, it had been a while since I found a show that I just couldn't wait for the next episode. And I just love that part of the experience with Yellowjackets. I love the speculating online, and now I feel like I can't go and look up a lot because there's a lot of spoilers or a lot of correct speculations that I don't want to see. I want to be surprised. I want to be shocked.
Yeah. Well, speaking of shocking, Ty
I don't want to talk about this.
Replace Biscuit.
No.
And welcome Steve to the Yellowjackets universe. Now, Issa, does Steve remind you of any other dog that you know?
Glenn, I think that's the first thing I texted you as I'm watching the episode. Steve looks just like my dog, and he does. I literally texted Glenn, you guys, in all caps. Did she just adopt a Roman lookalike? Roman is my dog's name, and we know how Thaisa's dogs end up. I was like, no, I cannot have that happen this season. Not with poor Steve. Oh my god. I was like, pick any other dog. And then they show the Yorkie, and I'm like, no.
I almost texted you at what would have been like 3 a.m. your time last night as I was watching this.
Well, you're gonna text me and be like, please tell me Roman is with you.
But Ty is getting a dog and getting Steve.
And she don't care. She don't care about it. She just said she didn't care. She didn't walk in there. She didn't look at the dog. She didn't connect. She said, just give me that one. I already have a bad feeling for Steve, please make it to the next season.
I hope Steve, we're pulling for you. Don't die, Steve. That's the hashtag.
I can't handle Steve having biscuits ending. I can't.
I know. Well, Ty's already got to work on her re-election. Her campaign manager already wants to.
She hasn't even taken office.
I know. This politics, man. It's tough. Why do you think she's got to do these ritual sacrifices? Politics is a tough business,
I was very outspoken. I hope most of our listeners come back that Ty was my favorite character last season. And as soon as she picked that Yorkie, I think it's already changing. Just throwing that out there.
So we cut from that back to Misty, and if you look, Misty calls Ty, Misty calls Natalie, she's called Hello Birdie Pets, and then Misty is going on her citizen detective message board, which looks suspiciously like Reddit.
Yes.
And when she's there, she finds a thread from citizen detectives about Adam Martin.
Yes.
And so, what's interesting? I want to just mention this quickly because it's kind of on the subject. If you go to the website, wherearetheyellowjackets.com, I don't know if you've done this yet. I believe this was mentioned in the MTV News story. This looks like a website out of 1996, 97, like early days of the web. Here, I could share my screen.
Oh, let's see it.
Yeah, let's see here what we can do. Where are the Yellowjackets? There. So not much on here, but if you scroll down.
God, the nostalgia. Look at that website. That's a work of art.
And it clicks here. What's interesting is if you wait a second on the 404 page.
No. Is that what I think? Yes.
Yeah, so now we're cursed and we need to forward this to 5 people each or else bad luck will befall us.
Oh my God, those were the days.
I know, but so I'm wondering if the symbols mean anything in particular, but so they've got make an offer DM to Yellowjackets Instagram, which, you know, if you do that, they're mailing people some things. But what's really interesting is this right here. Let me highlight it where it says, what does user you/Citizen Detective 96 know? There is a Citizen Detective 96 account on Instagram. And in true alternate reality game fashion, people are speculating, is this part of the show? They've tweeted about Yellowjackets, or they posted about Yellowjackets on Instagram, but we don't know if this is connected or not. So part of the mystery, and please don't harass that person just in case they're not part of this. But yeah, it's just what a funny coincidence. There's no Citizen Detective 96 on Twitter. Somebody grab that. No, don't grab that. I don't know. I'm surprised they haven't. Probably too many characters, but this is very interesting. And who knows, maybe I'll have to dig around the page source and see if there's anything else hidden in here that is a little interesting. I'm just looking at it cursory and no, this actually just seems like straight HTML. So yes, anyhow, Misty going on the Citizen Detective message board finds a thread asking about what happened to Adam Martin, and people are posting their conspiracy theories. And then we get a message from Putting the Sick in Forensics, which is Elijah Wood's character. You hear in the voiceover saying that they have access to Adam Martin's credit card records and about fancy dinners and miniature golf and a lingerie shop. And then what about the girlfriend? So it's also interesting that they're saying friends and family in Texas say that he wasn't planning trips. It's interesting how they're dealing with his disappearance. We'll talk about this a little more, but
Adam is forever a mystery.
Yes,
for our
yes.
listeners, we do record this show live on YouTube, and I did see one of our viewers in the chat asking, "Is Adam Javi?" That's gonna be something that goes on for it was last season. Remember, this has been a big speculation for a while now.
I think we know without a doubt that Adam is not Javi. But that being said, the creators were very big to say Adam was just a random guy and yada yada. I still think there might be some cult ties that come out of this. I haven't written that off.
Something. Right.
Just to tie this in. But Misty, and I love Misty's dramatic downvote of the post.
Don't act like you never downvoted a post like that. I have.
Where's like
very dramatic fashion.
I don't agree with you.
Correct. You are wrong.
Yes. And then she closes her computer. We cut to Shauna coming in on Callie with her boyfriend. Her boyfriend's leaving. Callie's talking about.
Well, hold it.
Oh, yes.
Because they were watching The Challenge, which is one of my other favorite shows of all time.
Another
and the Johnny
Viacom
Bananas backpack is such an iconic moment in MTV Challenge history. I screamed when I saw it. It was like a bunch of my worlds being combined in one, and I didn't know how to act at that moment. Amazing. Awesome. The challenge moment. I saw somebody bring it up in the chat again. Everybody that's a challenge fan, that's top 5 moment of the challenge for most of us.
Okay, there you go. I haven't watched the challenge since it was the Real World Road Rules challenge.
Since the Miz was still competing in it?
Yes.
Yep.
Since they brought Puck back for like a cameo. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. Damn, you haven't watched it in a while.
It's been a while.
Well, now they have they have other reality stars. Like now they have people from Big Brother, Survivor, Love Island. Like they started adding more people other than MTV people.
Wow. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So Callie.
I love this argument.
Callie telling Shauna, you need to tell dad about your affair with Adam. And then Shauna saying, no, I told him. And Callie saying, I can't believe, why would you do that to him? Callie is the worst.
Callie is the worst. She don't know how to act or what she wants. I laughed at this too because I can see she's the daughter. She's gotta be traumatized, right? Whose side do you take? You know, your mom is doing that to your dad, and I can see her point. It's like that deserves to know. Oh, he knows. How dare you? Because we all know Jeff. And after this episode, once again, a real one, ride or die for Jeff. I love him. So I can see why Callie wants to protect him, but at the same time, probably thinks he deserves to know. I don't know what position I will probably feel the same way she feels.
Yeah, it's crazy the dynamic they have. I mean, I'm trying to think of just Callie's relationship with Shauna is fast. Like that would be the most interesting show of just like the mother-daughter frenemies show, and the tension between them. But you know, Shauna is still processing this. And then we cut back to the Canadian wilderness in the 90s, and there is Shauna talking to Jackie in the meat locker, in the meat shed in the woods.
Shout out to Shauna and Jackie playing that stupid game of where you're gonna end up with who, with how much money. I played that game so much as a teenager.
How did those predictions turn out for you, Isa?
None of them panned out.
Do kids still do like so when because I'm a teensy bit older than you. What were they called? What were the folded paper? The
I can't remember the name, but I know I played it.
Cootie catcher. Paper fortune teller, and you'd sit there and you like fold it each way, and then you open up and the secret message would be inside. Like,
yeah, I think they were playing the one where you wrote down the 3 options and then you think of a number and then you start counting until you narrow
so this was
down
like
to
that.
1.
So with this, you would put on the folded up part, you would have different colors, and you pick a color and you pick a number, and then you would open the corner, and it was like a fortune cookie. It was like a fortune teller. That was my generation, and by that I mean like people that were like 3 years older than the Yellowjackets, because I was class of 94, they're class of 97. So by the class of 97, they were just like, we're not folding up paper, we're not into origami, we don't have the patience for that. So instead,
besides they're using the paper to get warm.
It's true. But we saw in the next scene they're still folding up the paper to make the little football and play the football game. Right? That's timeless. Do kids still do that?
I don't think so.
Yeah, they got the internet. But anyhow, so Shauna talking to Jackie about her future and marrying Jeff, and then we look and then we see that nope, Jackie's still dead. Jackie's corpse. Shauna's hanging out with Jackie's corpse.
My favorite part is they were like, where is Shauna? And I can't recall who says she's out there with dead ass Jackie. Or talking to dead ass Jackie.
Mari says that.
And then that's when it hit me, because I thought it was, I mean, I'm assuming that Shauna has visions. But seeing it from that perspective where you're just sitting in the shed talking to a frozen corpse, hilarious.
Yeah.
Not really, but you know what I mean.
No, and once again, Mari is like the secret weapon comic relief of this series.
Shout out to her.
Yes, and Alexa Barajas, our interview with her, we posted the other day. She was absolutely lovely, and we're very thankful for her time. But then we have Ty and Van, and they're hanging out. Apparently, because of Ty's sleepwalking, they're just tying a rope to them.
Sleepwalking?
Well, sleep something. Yeah. It's crazy. I mean, just to think about how they're dealing with that. But hey, at least they got the loft to themselves.
Cute.
You know? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, dead ass Jackie.
Dead ass Jackie.
That would be a good rapper.
Why haven't they buried her?
I don't know. Well, she's frozen. But let's talk about, there should be a female rapper called Dead Ass Jackie. She could like play the Gathering of the Juggalos. Dead Ass Jackie.
Dead Ass Jay.
The Insane Clown Posse, Twisted, and Dead Ass Jackie.
That sounds like a freaking music festival lineup if I ever heard one.
Yes. But I love Misty. Misty is forbidden from cooking, but Misty is sitting right there right next to Mari, telling Mari what to do and saying you should add more herbs. Which I thought was great. And I like that Lottie is sticking up for Shauna and everyone is saying give it some time. You know, she's grieving. But to your point, I mean, they haven't buried Jackie. I mean, from a practical point of view, and I don't know how I know this, but the ground is frozen. So you know what I mean? And they don't, it's not like they have shovels. So right now, this is probably their best option.
Can't you just like boil a bunch of water so that you can freeze a portion? I don't know. I'm exaggerating here. I see your point. You probably have to stack the dead bodies somewhere for now. I just don't think that that Shauna is gonna be able to move on while dead ass Jackie sitting in the shed.
It's a little weird, but we all grieve in our own way. Oh, so
I was happy. I was happy to see Jackie again, though. Like she was
nice
one of my favorite characters, so it was good to see her get some appearances here.
Did you notice they recast the role of Aquila?
Yes.
So Kia King apparently got a series regular job on another show or had a movie or another project. So Nia Sedania is now the new Aquila.
Yep.
But even more substantial than that, we now have a crew of the B team Yellowjackets. We now have 3 regulars that were never seen before that are portraying some of those anonymous other Yellowjackets that were in the background of season 1, but we never met by name. And one of them is Crystal. That is the name that we got. I'm not sure the names of the other ones, but I loved this, that the intro shot of them was them looking over and saying, what do you think they're talking about? Like they're really on the outside. You know what this reminded me of? The season finale of Boy Meets World when they graduate high school and they see Minkus again after 4 years. And they're like, where have you been? And he's like, I've been over there. And he's pointing off camera to the like area of the school that we never see Corey and Topanga in.
Right.
This reminded me of that there's this other group that's had this entire existence, but they're just so not part of the main character group that they have their own little thing going on, including Crystal, who's kind of like their Misty.
Right. It was a great way to introduce them, and I'm glad that we're still getting new characters even on season 2.
Could you imagine like in season 5, someone's just like, hey, everybody. And they're like, oh, hey.
Where were you? Hanging out with Javi?
Yeah. And then someone's like, wait, has she always been out here with us? You know, like they're just bringing in new characters.
No, somebody gets up and screams, she doesn't even go here.
There's someone who's just sort of wandering by and thinking like, I'm going to hang out here. I'm just going to pretend. Yeah. Sure, I play soccer. I play football. I mean soccer, as you call it in America.
Oh my God, that would actually be funny.
Ashley Bart, please, every season introduce more teenage Yellowjackets in the woods that we've never seen before.
And we all wonder where they came from.
And we're just all like, but the way they did this, it was so obvious, but it was really smart that they introduced it in these 3. They have their own social group. I mean, there could be more. I'm sure on Reddit somebody has done a head count, and this season I'm sure we will be looking and seeing what the ebb and flow is there. But then we have cut back to Shauna. Also interesting, they're saying full on Norman Bates, where it's just like Shauna's gonna start dressing up as Jackie and like act. I don't know, who knows.
Listen, she already took her boyfriend, so
what are you gonna do?
Wow, low blow. Sorry, Jackie, you know I love you.
But she's talking to Jackie, the ghost of Jackie, and they're talking about how things with Shauna and Jeff started.
Yeah, because Jackie, even being dead, still wants to hear these painful stories.
I mean, they've got kind of a messed up friendship. Duh. I mean, but yeah, like even in the afterlife, they're still having the same fights.
Do you think that this is like, do you think that Jackie's just not there at all? And this is Shauna's own way of grieving and letting Jackie know the things that she should have told her before she died?
I mean, on a logical level, yes. On a pure like dark comedy level, Jackie is the world's most passive aggressive ghost.
Yeah.
Who's going to just hang out and like say things to Shauna like, oh, that looks really good on you, but just making like neg comments about like her fashion and life choices. Like
Yes.
Jackie's just gonna passive aggressively haunt her for the rest of her life.
You know what? You just gave me my goals. When I become a ghost, I'm gonna be a passive aggressive ghost.
Passive aggressive.
Just gonna hang out haunting people with really sarcastic, snarky comments.
Yeah, it'd be great, right? But so basically Shauna's saying that Jeff was like, oh, I don't know how much longer Jackie and I would be together. And Jackie's like, yeah, because I told him that if he didn't stop trying to pressure me into having sex, I didn't know if I could be with him. And then she's like, so who made the first move? What happened? Shauna shoves Jackie, and it turns out she just like shoved a frozen corpse. Hey, we've all been there.
Completely unnecessary. Yeah, of course. When is the last time you shoved a frozen corpse?
I mean,
I did it this morning, Glenn.
I'm in Vegas. The night's young. It's been cold. Yeah. And props to them. So clearly Ella Purnell is back to act as Jackie. I think for the frozen body, because we're going to be seeing that this season, they made a remarkably good sculpture.
Is that a sculpture?
I think for the frozen one it is, because I don't think you would... Like, why would you have Ella Purnell, who has a limited schedule, who was only signed on for season 1 of the show, and I'm assuming they had to work
show
out
up to put frozen makeup on and get
put
shoved?
Frozen makeup and let's just shove you like okay, wait a second. New idea.
Okay.
Next episode, Shauna's gonna like have to weekend at Bernie's this and like make like a prosthetic ear. And she's just going to be like hanging out like, oh, what? Jackie's fine. Look, rig up like some fishing wire to have her like wave her hand. And it's going to be, weekend at Bernie's in the Canadian wilderness with Shauna and Jackie and the Antler Queen.
I can't wait to see Jackie's frozen corpse walk out in the 1998 scene in front of the cameras.
No, she's still alive. It's cool, guys.
Jackie made it too, and it's just like frozen.
Like Shauna's got sunglasses on her. Just like she had a little much to drink on the flight. I'm gonna just help her into the car.
And they're pouring a bag of ice to keep her frozen. What's wrong with us? I'm sorry.
That's why, hey, if you're watching Yellowjackets, you can't judge us. You're just as dark. I mean, you are on board with this.
Yeah, you are.
In fact, okay, so I've introduced people to Yellowjackets. I mean, I talk about it a lot when people, especially, are asking for TV shows. And I've met people that are just like, what in the fuck did you recommend to me?
Like, I know, me too.
Me
too. But it was very funny. I got so many text messages between last night and today of people like, oh my God, Yellowjackets is back. And I was like, I didn't realize this many people listened to me when I told them they should check it out.
It's crazy how popular the show has become. But anyhow, so yeah, Shauna knocked Jackie's ear off when shoved her and takes the frozen ear and puts it in her pocket. And, we all know the rule in storytelling of Chekhov's gun, that if there's a gun in Act 1, it's going to reappear in Act 3. And the ear is going to have quite the trajectory in this episode.
Yes. Do you watch You on Netflix?
I have not watched the current season. But I've watched the first 3 seasons.
I'm not going to spoil anything, but there's something with an ear too. And I'm just wondering what's with dead bodies and ears in these new seasons of all these shows. Too many ears. It does
seem like there's a trend sometimes in storytelling where, certain things are popular. But Shauna comes in and she brings a plate of meat, the rations. The rations are running low. And my first thought was like, and I'm just going to put this out there, a lesser show would have, oh no, Shauna accidentally, the ear got into the stew and everybody ate the ear and they weren't aware. And isn't that crazy? Like, that's the corny way to get them to cannibalism, where there's like some funny accident where she trips, the ear plops in the soup. And then someone's like, the soup is really good. I don't know what you put in it, but keep up the great work. My compliments to the chef.
Do you season it differently?
I mean, we're gonna find some shit out in this, but she's bringing the rations. They're running low. People aren't happy. I'm assuming this is what's left of the bear. I mean, a bear is a lot of meat. I'm a vegan. I've known some hunters.
2 months, no?
I mean, a bear is a lot of meat. Maybe there was another animal. I'm sure they've done something. But we cut from this to Shauna going through her safe where she's got Adam's ID. his New Jersey ID, which is interesting because he's from Texas.
Yep.
Let's see on
I
here.
don't think that's a real ID.
Wait, oh wow. Big with the conspiracy already.
Yeah.
You know?
I don't think that's a real ID.
And I love that she looks at it, the back of that receipt, and sees a portrait of her, then sees the key with the paint, and is just like, oh shit, I forgot about the art studio.
Yep.
Which is weird because he lived kind of in an artist loft. So it's interesting that it's like he also had a studio. Like, talk about the artist existence. I've got an artist loft and an artist studio. Looking at this.
How much money did Adam have? Because he's not really Adam.
Oh, maybe. Well, okay. So Adam's birthday, this is interesting, was August 7th, 1986.
Okay.
Okay, no. So Adam isn't Javi because Javi was not 10 years old when the plane crash happened.
How old was he?
I'm going to say 12.
Maybe he was a
very
developed 10-year-old. I don't know.
Oh,
you're trying to kill my conspiracy. Okay, maybe he's not
possible.
Javi,
no, it's possible.
I think Adam is not who he said he was.
Okay, well, here's what's interesting is that Adam, that you think of him as a Texas resident based on the way that they talk about, but the issue date on the license was May 2nd, 2019. Here we are in 2022 in the show. So he'd been there for a few years, which is interesting.
Right.
And it's Hoboken. So I'm just zooming in on the license right now.
And I used to live in Weehawken. He was a yuppie. And he had a lot of money. If you can afford a loft and a studio in Hoboken, Adam had it going on.
We're going to find, the Adam mystery is far, far from over. I wonder if Elijah Wood's character is going to end up being connected to Adam in some way. He had access to his credit card records.
I think so.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Casey J in the chat is saying Adam is Javi. I mean, fine. Tell me how old Javi is supposed to be, and that will give us
But we don't know. So what? I'm not telling you that he is, but I'm not telling you that he isn't.
Okay. Well, Shauna calls Jeff. Jeff answers the phone. McDonald's chicken nugget department. Like, I like that they decided we need to up Jeff's goofiness. Like, people really liked how goofy and like dumb Jeff was in season 1.
Yes,
we got to up that in season 2.
I'm glad that they're like going all the way with it because Jeff ended up being low-key the dark horse of season 1. So many people love Jeff. Jeff
is great. But I like Shauna and Jeff. I mean, we'll talk more about how their relationship is evolving, but this is very interesting. And we cut from that to Ty trying to pick up Sammy, and then Simone is like, no. This is not happening.
Simone should have saved the doggy too. Simone could have taken Steven at least.
Yeah, that is kind of weird.
I'm very invested in this dog for obvious reasons.
I'm surprised you're not just hugging Roman this entire podcast.
He's right. Did you not hear him barking earlier? He's concerned. He's concerned. I as soon as the show ended, I was like, "Come here." He's like, "I'm just trying to sleep, Mom, please."
And I like that Simone's not saying get some serious therapy and we'll get back together. She's like, you get some serious therapy and step down, or else I am exposing you.
Yeah. You seem a little overboard, but I mean, she's
wait a second. It seemed a little overboard. I know that when I found my spouse had a secret shrine with a severed dog's head and a heart and like a blood altar, I said, we have some things to work on, but I think some couples counseling, we're going to be just fine.
Listen, okay, I'm not gonna get that dark.
You're just too much Team Ty on this. You're like, she can change.
No, I'm not gonna say she can change. I'm gonna say you can join her. What if this is some kind of witchcraft that can get you whatever you want? She just won a place in the office. Like Simone should just be like, "What can you get me?" You know what I'm saying?
It's like at the end of Rosemary's Baby when Rosemary's like, "Well, what are you gonna do? Maybe I've got the kid with Satan. Let's see what Satan has to offer."
Exactly.
Sorry, spoiler for people that haven't seen Rosemary's Baby.
Exactly, but Simone could have been, and also Simone could save Steve. So Simone needs to step it up.
Yes,
and she needs to worry about the save. Like they have a kid together, so she shouldn't be keeping him when he doesn't know what's going on. Like she needs to handle this a little more carefully.
So next scene, we're in the snow. and there's Travis and Natalie. And Travis thinks he sees Javi. I'm assuming this is the
Poor
scene that they
Travis.
shot at the end of season 1, but
Mhm.
maybe not. Of this hallucination. It turns out it's a dead fox that's frozen
Yeah.
in the snow.
Yeah, I really felt for Travis here.
Kevin Alves is, I mean, like, such a, like, that interview was so much, like, everyone said it was fun. I'm just saying, like, his layers and depth for being like
Yeah.
the dickhead teenage boy on this show. It was just
I was mind blown
amazing.
after we had the opportunity to talk to him. He was so great.
So such a deep guy. I hope we have him back. But I love that they're marking where they are. They're marking the trees and they're essentially mapping this territory. Like Natalie, I like for Natalie, given her troubled past and home issues and things with her father, I like that she's finding her strength and survival
Mhm.
skills, and it's making it's interesting to see how this is connecting for me with adult Natalie, the way Juliette Lewis is playing it and her trauma. And it's interesting because if you remember the very first episode of Yellowjackets, when Nat's in rehab, she's saying since she left the woods, she felt she lost her purpose.
Yep.
It's interesting to see her like in this zone that
Right.
she is not just she's not thriving, but she's doing more than surviving. And she's the
Correct.
one that's mapping this and like really taking charge. I mean, she's out there. She obviously wants to support Travis. We know her feelings. She doesn't think Javi is alive, but she has to see the secondary benefit based on what she's doing with the mapping.
Mhm.
Um, she has agency and
Correct.
like real momentum, and I just really love seeing the character even in this adversarial situation. I love seeing her come into her own and find this strength.
Likewise, really, really enjoyed her perform both adult and teenage Natalie
Yes. And then
in this
Misty
episode. Mhm.
Misty gave us a classic Misty scene when she goes to the hotel where Natalie was
Oh my
staying,
God.
and Misty Quigley has met her match in this hotel desk clerk
Yep.
who does
Best
not want
friends.
to give up information at all, even though Misty has his social security number, his name, his address, a book to read, and an exceptionally large bladder, and 2 days off from work. But finally finds out from him that Natalie's bill was paid in cash and she left.
Sure.
Yes.
Sure, that's what happened.
Um.
Unless the cult paid it and he
Oh
really
no,
is under
the
that.
cult did pay it. The cult left the
Okay,
cash.
okay.
Absolutely.
Okay,
That was
okay,
my
okay.
understanding. I think they took her and left a couple $100 on the bed and
Okay.
just
I
got
thought
out of
maybe
there.
he was just saying that because, the only thing they offer is privacy.
Well, I mean, believe it or
Listen,
not,
he sold this hotel very well. I wonder how many stars he has on Priceline.
and just be like not the best place, but discretion, 5 stars.
Discretion.
It's very good. Very good.
You have a cult, we recommend this hotel.
Oh my god. I laughed a lot and was just tickled by that scene.
Me
And
too.
then
When she
more
blurred out the
so,
social security number, I died. I was like, yes, Misty's back. Misty's back. I'm watching my favorite show again.
when this show ends, I need a Misty Quigley spinoff of just Misty solving crimes and committing crimes.
Agreed.
What, in fact, why don't we see more of that? Why don't we see more shows about crime solvers who also commit crimes at the same time?
I want to see a show of Misty just downvoting things on Reddit.
And I like that she'll have like thoughts
Yeah.
about it. And I love that when we saw the Reddit post from Walter with Elijah Wood doing the stops, the Telegram bit,
Yeah.
I'm like, look, we haven't even seen them meet yet. I am
Right.
shipping Misty and Walter get married, have
Please.
babies. Like I want this spinoff already, and I haven't even
Yeah.
seen
Me
them
too.
together.
Same.
Yeah, there's some things you just know. I just know this is going to be epic.
Correct. Same.
Well, if you were not already chuckling at that scene with Misty and the hotel clerk when they're in the art studio, and Jeff says it smells
God.
like the Chronic.
God bless Jeff. Please. National treasure, Jeff. Never change.
I need to tweet or DM co-creator Ashley and just say, come on, there had to have been alternates. Did he go in there and say, God, is that reefer I smell? Is someone smoking marijuana cigarettes?
I love that he said the chronic though.
The
It was epic.
chronic.
I laughed. I died laughing.
The chronic
I was like,
is,
I literally said, "You're such a dad."
Well, you have to remember, Jeff is 2 years younger than me, 2 or 3 years younger than me. So if you were a teenager, when I first time I smoked pot, it was pot or weed, or some people would be like marijuana, but it was mostly weed. But after the Dr. Dre record came out and there was like that big,
Right.
like pot was still sort of a hippie rocker thing in the 80s, and then hip hop culture, like it just crossed over. So the fact that Jeff's exposure to it is thinking of it as chronic is fucking hilarious to me. That is, because that fits perfect with his age when he would have been aware of it. And somebody was probably saying, like, would you like to smoke a blunt? Because that was perfect for the time. It was Cypress Hill and Dr. Dre, and that was marijuana culture.
Would you like to smoke the chronic?
I think I've told this story. I just had a stressful weekend a few weeks ago, and I was like, oh, I wish there was a way I could just shut my brain off for the weekend. And then I blurted out to my wife, oh, that's why people do drugs. And so I looked up and I was like, I'm going to get some marijuana. And I will tell you, I went to the dispensary near here, and there were a lot of dumb names for things. But I can tell you that in the extensive selection of things they offered, there was not a single thing called chronic to be seen in an entire dispensary in the year 2023. So, I think, I think it's maybe fallen out of the vernacular, but maybe Yellowjackets is going to bring it back.
Right, maybe.
And shocker, the band 311 has a brand of marijuana.
Everybody has that now. Either a brand marijuana, your own dispensary, or wrapping papers. But everybody, like, I'm sorry, like, the smoking papers, like Rob Van Dam. Everybody has something.
Everybody,
to the chronic.
To the chronic. You know what's weird too? I mean, this is just the funny thing. Like, everybody, if you don't, like, I admit I bought the 311 thing, and that was because it was half THC, half CBD, and I was like, oh, I'm curious what that's like. But we all just buy by name, right? Like, you can talk to them and they'll be like, oh, I mean, you say like, hey, I want something that is mellow but not too strong, and that's everything. But they try and like, oh, this is more of a head high, or this one helps your body. It's like, it all kind of works similar in my experience. So I just go with what I like the name of, and if it's got some sort of flavor, like, please be as like unobnoxious as possible. I don't want something that tastes like bubble gum or cookies. You know?
Oh no, because I was just gonna tell you how I bought some edibles because they were cookies and cream. I was like, oh, that sounds cute. I'll get them.
Like, looking at the menu, and it's like, ooh, pina colada. I like a good pina colada. I'm gonna get the.
I bought some pina colada edibles too once. Gaga, stop it.
Here's the problem. As children, when we went to the dentist and we would get those fluoride treatments, they would be like, well, we have bubblegum flavor or pina colada. Like, they would have all these flavors or blueberry.
Yeah.
And it would be like, this is the most, and like by the end of it, when the spit is just like built up, like, this is the most disgusting flavor ever. So it's weird as an adult that we still fall for that. That it's still like, oh, I like cookies and cream.
Yep. It actually tasted a little like it. But I could still taste the chronic.
That's the important part.
I'm never going to refer to it any differently. I don't care what anybody says.
I want to see Jeff buying marijuana. I want to see Jeff buying some chronic to make a blunt. And as we'll see in this episode, Jeff could use some of the chronic because
he needs it desperately.
When he goes into Adam's art studio, it is just painting after painting of Shauna, sexy, beautiful, one that's like creepy. With like the half skull thing. I have not analyzed all the art in this yet. Someone was saying there was a painting that looks like a younger version of Shauna, possibly, which I think is intriguing. But I don't know. I'm just holding out hope. I don't believe that Adam was just a random dude that felt. I mean, I think he was into her legitimately, but I think there's
No,
something
no,
else
no,
at play.
no. There's something else. I mean, maybe he's having, maybe he's not, but he's something. Maybe like an online stalker obsessed with the Yellow Jackets.
That was my thought. Although, we'll find out. So what was interesting about this is Jeff and Shauna really had a moment here
Oh yeah, they did.
where Shauna is confessing that she used to get jealous of the thought of Jeff cheating on her, but also turned on by the idea.
Yeah.
And she's accepted that. She doesn't judge herself for that anymore. And Jeff's going with it in the moment of this. Maybe polyamory is something they're going to explore in this show going forward.
Do you think the smell has something to do with why he got in the mood for
Smell
it?
the chronic.
Yeah.
This
is the most intense we ever seen them, though. It was
okay. So if I'm writing the show at this point, and there's going to be a storyline where Jeff and Shauna decide to become polyamorous and open their relationship, I will write an episode where they have a couple's date night with Randy and Allie.
Yeah.
And hilarity ensues.
Yes. For some reason, I kind of knew that's where you were going with that.
I mean, look, we got 4, maybe 5 seasons left of the show. If Randy and Allie don't end up together, I'm going to be so disappointed.
Oh my goodness. Same, honestly, for your sake. I know you really want this.
I mean, Randy, I like Randy. Jeff Holman, the actor, follows us on Instagram. Allie, though, Allie
your favorite.
Allie is probably my favorite character.
I know.
In the entire show. And she's just so good. And Tanya Cornelise, we've exchanged DMs. I want her to guest on this show so bad. But at the same time, I also don't want, I want to be surprised because all I'm going to be is are you coming back on the show?
Right.
That's all I want to know. When are we getting the Allie? Did you see somebody posted a book mock-up on Reddit of Allie's biography?
Yes, I saw it. I love Reddit.
Reddit is awesome. Yeah. So anyhow, they have some very passionate sex in the art studio, but it's weird that Jeff's staring at the photo of the face with the skull thing. I'll be like, can we turn that painting over, please? I feel like it's looking at me. This is really this is distracting me a little bit.
It was weird, but I've been needing the romance and the passion back in this marriage. So
yes,
you gotta do what you gotta do.
It is true. So back in the wilderness, Shauna's looking at the air, which is still in her pocket, and they're sending Misty out to get water.
Again.
Yeah, again, always. It's freezing. She is not happy about this, and she's being sent out there.
But it looked like she drew the number of the person that was going to go out, so...
Something's rigged.
Right. Definitely rigged.
It's definitely rigged. But back in present day in the studio, they're like, we have to get rid of all this. And I have to say... when they were like, we have to get rid of this, we can't carry the paintings out, someone's going to see us, and Shauna picked up the jug of turpentine, I was like, Shauna's going to burn down the art studio.
Yeah,
that's where I thought they were going with this. They're just going to just we're burning down the entire building, but no, instead they just smeared the paint. But I mean, honestly, that's way more suspicious, because if I'm the cops and I go to the art studio and all the paintings have been smeared, I know the woman in the painting is the prime suspect. Or her husband.
Or maybe Adam's girlfriend saw that he's cheating and he has another obsession and she got mad.
Okay. I see it.
Thank you.
Misty goes in the hotel room. We see a shot of that, but then we cut back and then we see one of our new Yellowjackets. Using the facilities, singing to herself. The Beaches theme, the movie Beaches.
Yes. Yep.
Gloria Love from Beaches, not Wind Beneath My Wings. Gloria Love, Crystal singing. and Misty just telling her to shut up. Like I love like it's humorous, but also this is going to, I do not think this is going to end well. And I do not like, I like the idea that Misty might be making a friend, but I also feel bad that Misty is probably going to bully this girl because she thinks that she's weaker than Misty.
Correct.
Yeah.
Same thoughts, exactly.
Yeah. Like this will be nice, but also this is going to, yeah, this is going to suck. I think Crystal,
it's not gonna end up well for someone.
Yeah. I don't know if Crystal's going to be Pit Girl, but I think Misty's going to end up killing Crystal.
Crystal's gonna get eaten.
Yeah. Yeah. So Natalie is there with Coach Ben and has the map that she drew of their expedition. They pin it on the board, so they mapped a couple miles in each direction. And saying no signs of game. So they're not finding food or anything to eat when they're out there, which is interesting, which is a very, very good setup for later. Misty, we see the scene from the trailer. Misty's telling herself not to cry. Crying's for babies. She's freaking out in the hotel room, but then she notices on the door that it had been kicked open. So there she's figured out that Natalie's been kidnapped.
So smart. Misty's so smart. I felt bad for her there for a second when she was crying because she thought that Natalie, her real friend, have left her. And I thought I couldn't help at that moment but to think, come on, you're smarter than that. Misty, go for it. And then she figured it out. I was very proud of her. I didn't think the Misty that I know was going to give up on Natalie that easily.
Well, it's interesting. One thing we learned in season 1, I mean, just by the fact that nobody mentioned it, like with Ty, we know Ty is somehow involved in dark forces and mysticism, maybe of her own accord, maybe tied into Lottie, but
I heard that if it happens while you're sleeping, it doesn't count.
I mean, you could try that as a defense, but I don't know if it's going to work. But when they were talking about the others and the blackmail in season 1, nobody said, "Oh yeah, what about Lottie and Van and this cult thing?" Like they don't seem like Lottie's a bit under the radar still with this,
Right.
And then we get to Natalie being held captive in a cabin.
Love her.
And someone coming in and feeding her and offering to untie her. And I like that Natalie has more agency as an adult. I know Juliette Lewis was very critical in season 1 of Natalie dealing so much with trauma and damage that she wasn't able to take action as much as she thought the character should, or as much as the character was pitched to her. So I like that we're establishing with present day Natalie, who's been kidnapped, that she is, you could just see from this scene, like she is immediately working on how to get out of here and have some control.
Correct. And that's what I would expect from Natalie.
Yeah. I think Juliette Lewis was phenomenal here.
So good.
So she gets one hand unlocked and then starts eating. We all know where that is going. I do not think a single person was surprised. But what they were surprised by was the next scene of Jeff raging to the sweet sounds of Papa Roach and Last Resort as he deals with all his anger and anxiety over Shauna being unfaithful, murdering Adam, and breaking into the art studio. Probably also some lingering stuff from his failed blackmail attempt. And what better way to rock out than to Vacaville's finest, Papa Roach?
Yeah, nice choice of song. I actually I would always give him a shout out. I think the music selection in this show is always excellent. I think this song is fitting. I feel for Jeff, man.
And this would have been,
he's a good dad, and he's just having to do all of these things,
And this would have been the perfect time. My band played shows with Papa Roach in the mid 90s in Northern California and knew Jacoby and the guys. They got popular almost out of nowhere in 99. Like they were very much a regional band, but Jeff would have been 20 years old when Last Resort came out. And like, again, good guy. I don't mean this disparagingly, but like they were the brocore, like alt rock. They were like the bro band for, not the kind of straddling the lines of new metal and alternative. So, this is got to have influenced this. There was a viral tweet when former Speaker of the House, Paul Ryan, who's also, a younger guy or a guy now in his late 40s, early 50s. There was Justin Halpern, the guy behind Ship My Dad Says, tweeted a fake report that said after Paul Ryan failed to repeal Obamacare, he was seen in his car raging out to the sounds of Papa Roach's Last Resort. Which is immediately what I thought of with this. I was like, okay, this is a play on that tweet of the aging bro raging out to Papa Roach.
But do you think that he had his playlist on shuffle, and then after Papa Roach, some Dr. Dre came in?
I don't know. No, I think Jeff, was love for the Chronic aside. Let's just break this down. I think we went from Papa Roach to Trapped. That's TRAPT. He went to Disturbed, Down with the Sickness, and he probably did like a really bad, like, ooh, ah, I can't even do it right. The ooh, ah, ka, 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 or whatever. Like he tried to do that. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
Then he was calming down a little bit, but then Drowning Pool's Bodies came on, and holy shit. Like he probably needs to get his car reupholstered because that is the song that if you were just gonna tear shit up. And then he was like, I probably need to leave the car now because I have raged so hard here. Strangely, he didn't listen to Rage Against the Machine because that's probably too political for his taste. But then he was just like, but then he didn't listen to it. But I think that intermittently he walked around singing Limp Bizkit's Break Stuff to himself and just saying, it's just one of those days.
Yep.
Yeah. Jeff is a complicated dude, and his music tastes reflect that.
Correct. If he would have been at Woodstock, he would have destroyed things.
Oh, Jeff wanted to go to Woodstock 99 so bad. He could have been there with the Miz with the shirt off. Like, Jeff wanted to go to Woodstock 99, but probably couldn't raise the funds. Yeah, desperately. He was like, oh my God, that looks incredible. Creed's going to play. Jeff probably made Shauna, not even a mixtape. He made Shauna a mix CD. Oh my God, I bet you when he found out Shauna was pregnant with Callie, like with arms wide open, he was like listening to that and he was just like,
I'm done. Yeah. Bye. We're completely off the track now.
One song is all it took, and I completely understand Jeff's musical taste.
Yep.
I understand this man very, very well.
Shout out to Jeff.
God. So they are then barbecuing out back, and they're burning not only Adam's license, but Shauna's burning her journals.
Yeah.
That's horrible. That's huge.
Do you think it's a real journals?
Okay, so from a sanity point of view, based on when Jeff stole them before, Shauna knows there's no good reason to keep this around. Like it will only cause problems for her. And if she scanned them and uploaded them to the cloud or encrypted them, she would still worry. Yeah, I know she would still worry. But in true Jeff and Shauna fashion, they pour way too much lighter fluid on it, light it on fire, and then set the tree on fire.
So good.
But I love that good old dependable Jeff says, and we're going to have Franks and beans tonight, so we have a plausible reason for why we're using the grill.
He's the grill master, after all.
He's the grill master.
That's what he says to Callie later in the episode. So,
I think my favorite moment of the episode, though, beyond the Chronic, beyond Papa Roach, beyond all
beyond the cookie,
is that Ty holding up the sweatshirt and smelling it, and then saying, "This is some sad ass divorce shit right there, Ty."
Ty's a real one. There's a reason why I love her.
Ty is great. But then actually this may have been better. She goes and sees the altar.
I don't want to talk about this part.
Okay, but like she's looking at it. She's seeing Biscuit's head.
What's left of it.
She's not terrified of this. She's looking at it and kind of like, huh? And I love that Steve runs in there and she holds him and she says, "We'll do better this time."
And Steve is looking like, what did I get myself into?
I mean, this is just like she's crying or she's on the verge of crying. She's distraught, but she's not horrified. And she said, "This was a mistake. I'm gonna do
I'll
better
do
with you.
better this time.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna do better with you." It's like, like you know how they talk about some people have self-loathing or like they're shocked at their own actions.
Right.
Ty knows what Ty's capable of. Even when she's not aware of it, she's aware of what the bad one version of Ty can do.
Self-awareness is a beautiful thing.
It is. Jeff, Callie, and Shauna are eating Franks and beans and hot dogs, and Jeff tries to tell a joke about what did
You know what the bun told the hot dog?
Now I thought it was going to say "you complete me" because I was like, that's kind of weak, but that kind of makes sense. And I love that he didn't even have a punchline, and then Shauna's trying to spitball punchlines, and they just can't come up with it.
Yeah. And then she said something like, the bun said you can stick other things in me. Callie was so disgusted at this point. Awkward to the max.
Yeah, other stuff can go in me too.
Yeah. How awkward.
Callie's gonna make a veggie burger. Smart move, considering that.
She said, "Enjoy your pig. I'm done with you guys enjoying your pig anuses." I'm like, jeez.
So good, but Callie might murder both her parents.
Yeah, she's going through it as well.
Nat and Travis back in the wilderness are watching Stone Age TV, which is looking at the fireplace. And Natalie is trying to comfort Travis and have a very real conversation. Travis saying, "I know you think he's dead." Travis thinking about his hope. Travis looking like he's just having a panic attack. But Lottie is able to calm that stuff. And Travis has a vision of the woods and candles. And Lottie saying that he's out there, he's alive.
But did she calm him down, or did she calm him down?
Lottie Matthews is magic.
He gets a little excited.
I don't know. I really feel for him. And I think that if you think about a lot of other things in the show, there are definitely moments of darkness. There are definitely moments of loss. There's moments of genuine emotion. But I think that what Travis is going through, we've talked about things like this before. Sometimes the show is a dark comedy. Yellowjackets is a dark comedy show about people coping with the lingering effects of trauma. And I think humor is a mechanism through which a lot of us do that. But I will tell you that what Travis is going through, there have been other things, but this is one of the things in the show that is just playing like no comedy, just genuine emotion and feeling. And because they often sprinkle in comedy so much or juxtapose things with comedy,
right.
You just really feel for the guy.
Yeah, but the thing of it is, and not to take it lightly, she calms him down, but she excites him in a different way. We goes to show you.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
She's a very powerful person. The magic and the powers that she have are insane. To me, the way that I saw that is I can see why all these people are so fascinated with her, why all these people follow her. There's just something about her, and that gave you the tease of that.
Okay, well, a little comedy at the end. Yes, I'd forgotten that. He is a teenage boy.
Seduced him. I don't know what happened. But he got excited. He got excited.
Look, sometimes people get, especially when you're a teenage young man, sometimes the weirdest situations just arouse things.
Right.
And that was the case here. I'd forgotten about that. Yes, a little humor at the end, but
it got weird. It got weird.
She gave him.
She did calm him down.
She gave him hope and a boner.
Yeah. Not
related. They sound like those two things would be related. They're not related. Hope and a boner. ABC's hottest sitcom from 1989.
And that's where we got the line that I mentioned earlier with Natalie tried to ask her why you're giving him false hope, and Lottie says there's no such thing as false hope. There's only hope.
Yes. So it's a little humor and awkwardness on the tag there. But Travis, though, and what he's feeling for Javi, I am very concerned for the kid.
Yeah, I'm concerned for both.
And Nat is as well. So then we're in the home stretch of this. We cut back to present day, and they come in to recuff Natalie. And I thought originally that she did stab her in the eye, but she stabbed her in the hand trying to protect her eye, and it looks like she cut her face. But Natalie is able to escape.
Yeah, she did.
And run the ground.
She was great. She was great here.
Yeah, and just oh my god, this looks like again. There's some shit going on as we're about to learn here soon, but I'm just saying, if you have to join a cult, this one looks really lovely.
Does it, Glenn?
Don't you think so?
Which part is lovely? The antlers, the decorations, the
I was thinking more the lake, the woods, the lighting. You know, people are calm and peaceful. The cabins,
people alive.
Well, we hadn't gotten to that part yet. We hadn't got. I was still impressed.
Okay.
It was like Lottie afforded some acres here. You know,
right.
This is a lovely retreat. And you know what's funny about this?
I'm not a woods person.
Well, this is a 90s thing. Like Natalie's running and running and running. She's being chased and she's seeing the people hanging out. This just looks like kind of a nice sort of rehab camp retreat sort of place. And then she gets to the woods, deep in the woods. And of course, there's a fucking drum circle going on. Of course they're playing drums.
Of course.
That's some 90s shit right there.
Yeah.
Like, yes, they're playing the drums, and she sees a lot of people in masks that are a much more polished, slicker version of the makeshift animal mask we saw in the woods in the flash forward in season 1 of the Antler Queen and her party. And we'll talk more about that in a second. But then we cut back to Ty and Van, and Ty in her sleep is trying to get something going, waking Van up. Van's into it. Ty, though, it turns out, is not fully present.
She's trying to kill her. She's trying to eat her, not in a fun way.
Yeah, she bites her lip and draws blood, and then they're talking, and
well, Van realizes she's asleep, so she wakes her up.
Yeah. And then Van very sweetly takes the blood and writes, "I heart you, I love you" on her arm. And they're
if the next person I date is not telling me they love me like that for the same time, I don't want it. For the first time, like, I need that.
It's kind of awkward sometimes.
Yeah.
How do you when you do that the first time? You know?
Have a great relationship. And then at one point Van says, "You killed a wolf for me. That's the most romantic thing."
A lot of the times,
they're cute.
I'm sad that they're not, as far as we know, they're not together in present day. I don't know if you feel this, but I watch them together sometimes. It's like, oh, I want what they have.
Yeah, I just told you I want somebody to take their blood and write "I heart you" to tell me they love me.
No, but I think it's sweet. And actually, some of the better aspects of the relationship, remind me of like.
Yeah, even in this whole conversation was so sweet. Oh, Glenn, that's cute.
Well, because I like the way that they're sort of just figuring things out,
Right, together. Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice. It's very nice.
And the fact that Van is trying to tell Ty, like, "I'm not scared of you. I'll sleep up here with you. I know you're going through it. It doesn't bother me. And you did all these things to save me. Of course, I'm going to be here." They have a very cute relationship, which, like you said, hurts to know that they're not,
I know,
together. As of right now, they're not together.
Yeah, and we'll see. We'll see what's going to... Hey,
Simone is about to let that walk away, so I don't know where adult Van is, but she needs to pull up.
Ty's available, Ty's got nothing to hold her down except, commitments to the puppy at this point.
Oh, God, Steve.
So then we'll go back to Natalie, and yeah, she sees the ritual. So there's people in the animal masks, and there's a naked dude that gets in the ground, and they start burying him.
Alive, naked.
I don't know that they're burying him. I mean, they could just be burying him like up to his neck. Like, when you bury someone in the sand at the beach.
Yes. I don't know, but it's still weird. It's the middle of the night. He's naked. Like, there's a lot going on here.
And then Lottie is out there, and Lottie is like going into like a fugue, like a spiritual something is happening to her.
Yeah.
And we don't know what's about to happen. And this is actually what I'm shocked about. I'm kind of shocked that Natalie wasn't like, I'm curious where this is all going. I'll just hang here for
That would have been me. I would have hidden and try to finish.
Like, I know I'm on the run, but I just can't look away from this.
Right.
And the dude is naked and you see everything. Yeah, and they bury him. But then she goes up and she's gonna clock Lottie. Natalie goes up there. There's about to be a big confrontation. She's hitting a dude in a wolf mask, I think it is. And then Lottie's like, no, she's my friend. It's cool. Yeah, and then they're gonna talk. They're gonna talk it out.
She says it so welcoming and peacefully as Natalie's like freaking out. She's like, no, she's my friend. It's okay.
She says, I have a message for you from Travis.
From Travis, which completely shakes Natalie and stops her in her track. We all know that's her weakness.
Oh, absolutely. Then we get this beautiful end montage with Tori Amos's Cornflake Girl playing. And we are back. Shauna walking around holding the ear. In the snow, we see Nat and Travis. And Travis couldn't wait to get back in the snow because that erection, the magic erection Lottie gave him, was not going away. And he was like, I need to go back out in the cold air to deal with this.
He needed some shrinkage assistance. I'm sorry, but it's true.
I know. It's funny because I forgot about that. I was like, they were having this really nice, beautiful moment.
Yeah. I didn't mean to bring it up, but it just completely
no. Thank you for reminding me because I forgot about that.
Because I was like, he got a boner.
We see Callie going in the grill, finding the remnants of the bird ID. It looks like a shrinky dink, like it's all like warped plastic. But Nat and Travis are in the woods, and so I had to rewatch this a few times. They come across some sticks that are broken. They come across some vegetation because they were saying before, like, there's no life out there. This is all frozen. Right. And what they're looking at told me someone had been there, and with that vegetation, that looks like edible vegetation. Like somebody could be eating that. Somebody could be
correct.
You know, whether it's animals, which it means there are animals nearby. Somebody could be hunting them and surviving. But this is hope. This is that hope that Travis was clinging to, that Javi is out there.
Yep.
And this is potentially a sign. Very, very good sign as it pertains to Javi being alive.
Correct.
Then we get to the line in Cornflake Girl by Tori Amos of things are getting gross. We see Shauna looking at the ear and then beautifully pops it in her mouth. There's a little bit of a crunch. Ugh. And we cut to the end credits.
She took it in one bite, bro.
I mean, if you're going to do it, just do it.
Oh my God. Finally. Because remember the first season, we're all about like, oh, this is about cannibalism and all this. We finally really get to see it.
Yeah. And people were saying, oh, they're not going to get, even in the interviews, cannibalism, you know, we're not going to rush into that. That's not going to be something that the show, I mean, we saw it at the end of season 1, but it was like, oh, we've got a while. And we've got to see the circumstances which they get there and the direness and whatnot. And I love that. Okay, 2 things. One, I love that they just kind of surprised us with this, because I don't think, I started looking at the ear and I was like, yeah, maybe, or maybe, like I was saying, a lesser show would have ended up in the stew accidentally. I love that Shauna carried this around, looked at it, didn't know what to think about it. It had thawed out at this point, and she was just like, fuck it. Because remember, Shauna's still pregnant.
Right. She needs to eat. She's supposed to be eating for 2.
Yes.
Do you think that Jackie is going to be able to hear her as well now?
I don't think that's how it works. She's still got another ear. But
for how long though? What is she really like that you're gonna go back tomorrow and take that other ear?
I mean, yeah. Okay, but let's talk about the other thing. Mm-hmm. They named this episode Friends, Romans, Countrymen. And the famous quote is Friends, Romans, Countrymen, lend me your ears.
Yes. Genius.
And this is from Julius Caesar, I believe. Act 3, Scene 2. So when that happened, and realizing that being in the title and that being the payoff, I wanted to be like that gif of just standing up and applauding.
Yeah, same.
Like, it was so clever how it was there in plain sight.
Correct. So
This
good. This show pays
episode,
attention to so many details. It's just listen, worth, like you said in the beginning of the episode, worth the 13-month wait. They did not disappoint with episode 1 at all.
it was so good. And again, I have a feeling I know where things are going. I wish I didn't know from the trail. I wish I didn't have any evidence to back up those feelings, because the uncertainty of season 1 was such a beautiful thing. And that being said, I'm here for the ride. I can't wait to see what happens next. I can't wait to see how we get there. I don't know where the overall season is going, but I have an idea of some of the beats based on the interviews. And I will just say that again to anyone. If you want to read any of the interviews with Simone Kessel or the showrunners, like, there's some information out there that's just going to spoil some things that happen. And if you watch even the season trailer, you're going to have a few things spoiled. They're going to happen in the season. And I hope it's wrong. I hope that we're very surprised. And I think we will be. And remember,
I think so too.
More seasons to go after this, but it's also kind of weird. To quote that scene.
Oh yeah, we forgot to talk about that. I'm sorry, but Casey just brought up in the chat, Shauna's daughter, she finds the ID. She finds a little piece of the ID. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, you did. My bad.
No, it's okay.
Listen, it's 2 a.m. where I'm at, okay?
I forgot about the boner. We're all forgetting things.
You're right.
It's late. And by the way, this is going to be a late season because, so for people that don't know, new episodes are going to hit the Showtime app at midnight Eastern, 12:01 Fridays, which means 9 p.m. Pacific Thursdays, 1 a.m. your time in Puerto Rico. And I think we're going to try and watch these and either do a react after, or maybe just do the podcast after, maybe do the react after and the podcast the next day.
Yeah, they completely changed our flow here. So we'll get it figured out. I unfortunately was out yesterday, so that's why we're doing it today. But we'll figure out and we'll keep you guys posted with what the format is going to be. Because last season we did immediate reactions, right? We will go live and do immediate reactions, and then we would do later on, a few days later, we would do like a full breakdown, like what we did tonight.
Normally like the next day.
Right.
I think we got in the habit. But no, look, I can't wait to see what happens next. I'm counting it down. Here we are. It's Friday evening. I'm
already can't wait for the next episode.
I know, it's so good. And by the way, like, we did try with Paramount Plus and Showtime and saying, hey, we're like the second Yellowjackets podcast ever exists. Can we get screeners? And no response.
It's not like we were the first ones or anything.
We were the second. We were the second Yellowjackets podcast.
Yeah.
No, it's actually fine. I thought about this. I mean, let me pretend like it doesn't faze me. I'm actually glad we don't have screeners, because I don't think I could talk about these episodes and speculate and have this much fun with dumb ideas like Jackie and Weekend at Bernie's if I knew what was going to happen in the next episode.
And we go live, and sometimes some people in the chat are viewers and they can speculate with us, and I like the way that we do it, so I agree with you. I just think it's like, the one thing that I will say is I remember when you finally talked me into it and I watched it, and how, because it took you a little while because I'm weird.
Like twice.
I know, but you know what? I'm picky, and I guess you understand my dark sense of humor because this show was for me. But I remember like looking it up on social media, and it was so limited, right? When we first started talking about it, and now, I don't even have to click on the hashtag. It's all over my timeline. People from other things that I cover are talking about Yellowjackets, and I'm like, man, I remember when it was our cute little citizen detective things. Now it's just everybody's into it.
And newer fans, like, if you're late to the party on this, like, don't think that we're gatekeeping on this.
I will never gatekeep. It's amazing, and I'm glad you found it. I think everybody should find it. It's just beautiful to see how big it's gotten.
Well, what it reminds me of is that scene in episode 3 when Natalie is hanging out with what's his face, the cop. Was his name Kevin? Am I remembering that correctly?
Yeah, I think it was Kevin. Yeah, I know who you're talking about though.
Yeah, when she was hanging out with her friend, the cop, and they were talking about Nirvana, and they were saying like, yeah, it's great, Nirvana's popular, but I really miss when they were just ours.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I've been thinking about with this show, which is a little silly, But yeah, like but I'm glad more people are getting into this. I mean, people
Yeah,
listening to
just
the
remember. I
podcast.
remember at the beginning clicking on the hashtag, and it would always be the same group of people. And now just seeing all of these people tweeting about it, it's fun because you get more speculations, a lot more fun memes. Like
Mhm.
I was having so much fun scrolling through the hashtag when I finished watching.
And let me tell you, when we did our season finale of season 1, over 20,000 people have listened to that episode of the podcast.
Yes.
Just that episode
Go
alone.
us. Go
Yeah,
us.
that's our biggest episode. And the ramp up to that was great because we could see every week we were getting more and more listeners. So
Yeah.
thank you to everyone that's listening to this. We appreciate you being along for the ride. If you want to email us your theories, your ideas, your questions, we're yellowjacketsbuzz@gmail.com. We're gonna figure out some guests this season. I really like the recaps we did, and we had some other people, probably some that we'll have back this year, and work some new people into the mix. I would love we could get Jane Widdop, who played Laura Lee, if we could get them back.
We got to interview her. She was great.
And but the same thing, it's like Jane, they could be doing an episode this year,
Yeah.
so I don't want to.
I
We
am
might see
hoping for
Laura
an
Lee.
appearance. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
we'll
hoping
see.
for an appearance.
So we're gonna figure it
But
out.
seeing Laura Lee blow up that plane again on the beginning recap,
Oh my god,
it made me sad all over again.
I know. But no, I recommended this to you because I was like, the show's really compelling and really fucked up. I think you'll like it.
I know, and you were absolutely right.
But what's funny though, now for over a year, I've like 2 years, I've been like, you need to watch Evil on Paramount Plus. Like, that is also really fucked up and really dark, and I think
I'll watch it. I'll watch it. And somebody in the chat just asked if we have any show recommendations.
Yeah.
So there you go, Casey.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. So Liv Hewson, they are on special guest on season 3, episode 5 of Party Down this week, playing Megan Mullally's character's daughter, who Liv did not play that character in the original series, but she's playing. But they are playing the grown-up version of that character. Very funny episode, probably the funniest episode so far of Party Down's new season. And I'm just saying, if Party Down gets renewed for season 4, it only took 12 years between season 2 and 3. Party Down gets renewed for season 4. I'm doing a Party Down recap podcast because that is one of my favorite comedies of all time. And this latest episode was so funny and had one of the funniest jokes I've heard in a long time. So yeah, and the actors from Yellowjackets are everywhere now. I feel like we're seeing them pop up in more and more roles.
I know. I absolutely love. I recently watched Scream 6.
Oh yes, and Jasmine.
Yeah, Jasmine does so good on Scream 6 that I really started caring about the new group of characters, and they did a good job with Scream 6. I just love seeing all of them succeed. Well, they're all so talented.
I won't spoil what movie it is because it kind of gives something away, but there is another movie that came out recently that's a sequel. And Jasmine has a little pop-up cameo in it.
I know what you're talking about.
I popped for. So like I loved it, and it was so brilliantly done, and it was Jasmine as Jasmine in a role. It was so well done. So yeah, I'm trying to think what else has been really good lately. There haven't been as many shows that I've been like obsessed over.
Yeah, I've been on. I watched the new season.
Yeah.
I have mixed feelings about it. I didn't like the first half. I thought the second half was genius. And I'm more on my reality kick right now. Like Survivor is on right now, and the Challenge Global is on. And obviously, it's heightened for us because in the wrestling side of things. So I haven't really had time to get into anything at the moment.
And probably not maybe a little bit of the retro element, but the new Quantum Leap is something that I absolutely love. And I love that they're doing leaps and time travel back to the 90s and the 80s and telling really interesting personal human stories that I think are just beautifully well done, very much in the spirit of the original show. So yeah, I'm excited we're back. Yellowjacketsbuzz@gmail.com. You can follow us on Twitter, follow us on Instagram, check the show notes for all our socials. And
well, the bad news is I'm traveling next week, but the good news is we'll be on the time zone, on the same time zone. So we should be able to configure our recording for the next episode fairly easy.
We'll make it happen. Thank you everyone for tuning in, and we will catch you back here next time on Yellowjackets Buzz. Take care.